Hey guys, Fire here, bringing you another game review. This time we're checking out X-Force Under Attack. This game is developed and published by Cube Games and is a shmup style game that has a lot of cool upgrade systems and mechanics with how the game works. So you got a little bit of information here on the main screen, so we'll kind of talk about this. Stage select is ultimately where you're going to go for your missions. Upgrade is actually where you're going to go to upgrade the ship, and if you're like me, it can be a little confusing, and I'll explain in a second why this was confusing for me at least. But you're able to upgrade all kinds of different mechanics in the game to allow you to be able to have a stronger and stronger ship and push further in the game. Now, as long as here on the screen you have just a simple how to play that just gives you more or less your controls, which really should just be controls, not how to play, and then some very basic audio settings, not much as far as like the accessibility part for this game, which isn't necessarily needed, but it's always neat to see at least like some colorblind support for things like these kind of games, but it's not always there. And then we have stage select. So the game features 9 different stages, but also leaves a very promising coming soon kind of message, so it leaves us really hopeful that more content's going to be coming out for the game. Now, when you first start out in the game, you're not going to be super strong, and you're probably going to fail multiple missions. Now, where I was talking about getting confused when it comes to spending the stars that you collect, this screen here is where you can buy up to 3 of your like kind of power-ups for when you're going, so like your special abilities. But if you spend your money here and use them, the money's kind of gone. So don't do the mistake I did where I kept thinking I was upgrading to something here because it says increase the destructive power bombs, but I was actually just buying like specials that I was then spending in the game, but actually never improving my ship. As well as you can pick one of 4 different kind of ships, captains, whichever way you want to call it. They're kind of both, depending on like your game style. Your upgrades do carry over, I believe, between all of them. So like if I switch my ship here and then go back to upgrades, I still have everything maxed. So it's really up to you like which one of these units you want to go and deploy in the game with. So we'll take Destroy here and just kind of play the game a little bit while I talk about it. So the way the game features is it's got this nice kind of mechanic where you can have an auto shoot enabled, but it's also kind of the same mechanic as you just, ultimately pressing down the button on your control. You're going to spend a lot of time with this game kind of grinding until you get upgrades, but as you start to get upgrades and really just improve your ship, things are going to get easier and easier for you the farther you go in the game. Now, the game does a really good job at introducing enemies that honestly have a good variety, but also like slowly kind of weaning you into things while you are playing the game. It's never going to really shove you in a situation that makes you feel kind of overwhelmed. It's going to constantly just give you little victories that help push you toward the kind of overall goal of the game and completing the 9 missions that are available. Now, the missions do ramp up pretty lengthy in difficulty, and you will have to spend some time kind of grinding missions you've already done to ultimately try to level up and get more and more stars to upgrade your ship as you go. One thing that I do also enjoy with the game is it does do a good job at introducing some quote-unquote boss levels, where you'll fight these bigger ships and have to go through things in the game as you just progressively get further and further that really give you a good variety of content while you're playing, but not just overwhelming you so much that you don't get to continue to see units that you've continuously played and interacted with. Now I'll show a little bit here where you can see some of like the special abilities, and these are those abilities I was talking about where it's just things that once you spend your stars on, you kind of rinse and repeat and lose those. So as you get further in the game and some of the harder levels where you might be failing them, you're going to have to go back and kind of re-grind out your experiences to go further and further in the game. Additionally, the game doesn't allow you to use, more than one special at a time, but it's not something that really hinders you. You're just kind of capped at how many of those special abilities you have. And then at the end of every mission, you're going to be introduced with just a stage complete screen here, and then we can take those stars and purchase and buy, ultimately, once you've upgraded your ship, just additional things as you go throughout the game and push even further while playing. Overall, I do think X-Force Under Attack's a really fun shmup that adds a lot of kind of work toward efforts to complete out the levels, and the game does it really well with the package it has presented. I wish, like, the how-to section here, that's honestly pretty basic, maybe had some more information about upgrading and like how you could spend your stars for somebody who's not necessarily used to these kind of games, but it doesn't detract by any means just how much fun I've had with X-Force Under Attack. As far as an opinion, do I think you guys should pick this game up? I do think it's a really fun shmup that has a lot of mechanics that keep you just pushing and wanting for more, especially as you go through all your upgrades and, you know, trying to figure out what's best gonna suit your needs for how your kind of playstyle is, but ultimately leading to the end goal of having everything upgraded and then trying to complete out that final mission. And I like that the game does give you some variety in the ships that you can pick, so you can kind of cater to like your playstyle and have, you know, a little bit of say into how you play your game and experience it while you are playing it. I'd say if this game comes in anywhere under a price of, you know, $15, it's a really fun shmup. Not knowing the price at the moment, that's kind of where I think a safe space would be. And if it's even 10 or less, that's even more bang for your buck. If you're a big fan of shmup games, I don't think this game will disappoint. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the game. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd hope you could consider hitting that thumbs up button. Let me know what you think of the game down below in the comments. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing, and then maybe check out one of the other 2 videos that should be on your screen right now. I hope you have a blessed great words. Sorry. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you, and bless you all.